Gobela. Welcome to my channel, and we're going to talk about ancestral gifts and people stealing them from us. Now, let's talk about ancestral gifts. What are they? Because for us to understand if people can steal them, we need to understand if these are spiritual things or these are physical things. Now, when we're talking about ancestral gifts, we are talking about the gifts that our ancestors are gifting us so that we can continue to carry on whatever it is that our ancestors were doing. Now, this is what we call now, in the modern terms, generational wealth. Because whatever it is that your ancestors were using was making them succeed when they were living as human beings like us. Those are ancestral gifts. Now, when it comes to ancestral gifts, remember that depending on what your ancestors were using, the tools that they were using, when they were using their gifts, the tools can come as physical tools, like that's where you see some healers, they've got divination bones, right? Some healers, they use water. Some healers, they use things like this, right? You see us dressed up in all this ancestral cloth, the beads. These are the physical things. Now, as you see me like this when it is time and I'm called by my ancestors to join them, that means my beads, my ancestral cloth, my chelo, my divination bones, they will come as inheritance to my family members. Meaning that when my children are taking things that they said my parents have left or my mother has left, they will put those things as they inherit the tools that their mother was using. Those are the tools that they will continue to use, because the ancestors in the spiritual realm, they'll continue giving them information for them to continue using these physical tools. Now, think about it this way. Let's just say within my family, none of the children decide to take this. Now, some of my family members, they know that I used to use this kind of tools and I was successful, because these are supposed to make me successful, isn't it? This is the wealth that my ancestors are gifted. They've gifted me, right? I'm using this with the information that I'm being given by them spiritually to use these tools so that I can better myself, my life and my family life and the relatives, right? Now, if no one is using it, it means that if they're there packed up in suitcases or whatever that will be packed up, one of the family members can decide to steal the tools. Can steal them. The tools I'm talking about, physical things, hoping that my ancestors will continue giving them information so that they can use those tools. That is when we will say someone has stolen the tools that your ancestors have left behind. Those are not the gifts. Those are tools that your ancestors have left behind. They are physical. We can touch. Now, how can someone use those tools without your ancestors, what they call permission, to continue to heal people, to help people, to give people messages out there? Can someone do that by stealing all these tools that I'm using? Let's just say even now, like now someone can just break into my house, steal these tools. Can they use them? That is the topic for today. Can people steal our tools and use them using my ancestors? Because we are talking about someone stealing your ancestral gifts. Now, remember I said someone can physically steal my physical tools that my ancestors have gifted me to use to help people. But now, when it comes to ancestral gifts, the gifts, we as people, we are physical living people. Someone can even steal you, the physical living person, you can be stolen. Someone can just, physical living person, you can be stolen, right? Someone can just come and, and steal you with your tools, divination bones, put you in the car and hide you somewhere. Now, can the same person use your ancestors? Because obviously they've got you, isn't it? Can they use your ancestors? Because now they've stolen you, isn't it? They've taken you with your tools. Can they use your ancestors? That is what we'll be talking about. Now, first, before we go into that, let's just talk about things that a lot of us, we go through. Fear. When we are fearful of something, the first thing we want to do is, the moment we feel that there's a threat, you want to go into the protection mode. You want to protect. But before we go into that protection mode, we need to think about what it is that we want to protect and what it is that we can protect. Because some things, they don't need our protection, as in like physically thinking that something can be stolen. And now you want to go in a protection mode. You want to do all the tricks so that people don't steal your ancestral gifts. Right? Now, when it comes to our mental side of things, people can control us, meaning that mind control. So they can control you, the way you're thinking about things. They can use fear, they can use love to control you or to manipulate you into thinking that certain things are possible. It is very easy. It is very easy. You can use those two things. Just cuddle someone. I love you, I love you, I love you. And someone can be manipulated easily like that. Or, oh, I'm going to destroy this, I'm going to destroy this fear. And manipulate you into thinking otherwise, other things. And most of the time when these things are used, the first thing that we think about, we don't think about positive things. We tend to go into the negative side of things, which is number one enemy. When we think there's a possibility of something that is dangerous, the possibility of someone stealing your ancestral gifts, and the doubt, when the doubt comes up after that, that is it, that's the end of it. Someone can just use your hand. Someone can just tell you to raise your hand, you do that. Put it down, you do that. Manipulation can happen. Mentally, using emotions, your emotions anyway. But now we're talking about ancestral gifts. Ancestral gifts. These are spiritual beings. This cannot physically be seen by spiritual eye. I mean, by physical eye, can only be seen by spiritual eye. The ancestors. These are people who have gone past. So, can someone go to that extent using all different things now? Muti is one, because obviously we use muti a lot. Traditional people use muti a lot, right? Using muti, using manipulation to access your ancestral gifts so that they can steal them. It is impossible, guys. But we don't want to hear things like that. But it is impossible. It is impossible. The only time that your ancestors can continue giving information, they can do that. The only time that they can do that is when they see that by continuing to give you information because there's a threat. I mean, someone has taken you, has kidnapped you, right? So they have to give information through you so that they can for your survival, isn't it? They can save you. So they will continue giving information because you are held up there, right? Someone is holding you there in captivity. So they will continue giving information so that for your survival, it depends as well with that one, because they will be looking ahead to see if by doing this, this will help you ahead, or this person might release you. So they will do it as well to numb that person as well, so that there's a possibility of you coming out. Right? That is when they will do those kind of things. But we should not even be fooled that someone can use your ancestral gifts. It is impossible. Even family members, they cannot steal your ancestral gifts. Even given the divination books and the beads from your grandmothers. When family members have stolen your tools, the tools that your grandparents have left you to continue using their gift, if family members steal those tools, ancestors, they can help you find other means to continue to use their gifts. Because we are talking about things that are coming from spiritual side of things. Information is passed on to you, the physical living person. The tools, yes, they can be given again, because these are material things. They can tell you, okay, someone has stolen your divination bone. We'll send you there, you'll find this other piece. We'll send you there, you'll find another piece. We'll send you there, we'll find another piece. For the rainmakers, if you have been using all these sticks, and these sticks were done like this, we had to do this ritual for this stick to be used to make it rain, right? And someone steals it, especially those ones who stolen them and have taken them to museum. We will find other means to recreate those things, even though some might take long, but we'll find other means to recreate those things. But ancestral gifts cannot be stolen. Ke a leboga Lesedi and Rebecca Lesedi and Faith Lesedi. Yes, ancestral gifts cannot be stolen. But it's a pity, because a lot of our people, not only, remember, it is the same as with, let's just think about it a simple way. Let's just say your ancestors, they've given you a bank card, that they've given you money, they've left you money in the bank, they've given you a bank card, that is your ancestral gift. They've given you the pin for it to use. Someone in the bank can use, same as when you go to a healer, you're giving healer information. The healer can use the tricks to get the information from your ancestors and tell you otherwise, until your ancestors remove you from there, right? That is the only thing that can happen there. If your ancestors decide this is not trustworthy, they'll take you out. The same way as if they've given you a bank card, you as the person with the ancestral gift, that is, I was just giving you an example with something simple. You have to safeguard that, make sure that no one has access to that card of yours. You have to hold it, hide it, and not give anyone your PIN number, right? To go into your account to take money, right? So you do all the tricks to make sure that no one knows about it. That was a simple thing. But when it comes to ancestral things, we are not talking about things that we can hold, material things. We're not talking about things we can touch. We're talking about spiritual things. No one can steal your ancestral gift. It is spiritual, guys. It is spiritual. Even when they can kill you, if your ancestors decide, we cannot give this information, it is serious information, you'll die. Ancestors will be crying there because they do. Yes. They'll be crying there, oh my God, we couldn't do anything. This information, we really cannot release it. Yes, it will be the end of you. You'll join them and they will talk about it. Next time we'll do it like this. We'll try to do these tricks so that people don't do things like that to harm the next generation. Now, some ancestors with these gifts, I guess maybe this is where it can be, people can think that someone has stolen another person's gifts. Sometimes ancestors, okay, is overheating. The same device is overheating. I hope it's not too much, maybe it's light. Sometimes with ancestors, they might want to share their ancestral gifts with their family members, but due to circumstances that are happening to us now, a lot of us, we don't want to hear about ancestors. And some ancestors, because they know those gifts that they have, someone else can use them. So you'll find that ancestors will reach out to someone else, your same ancestors, next door neighbor, to give them, yes, they do that, to give them the gifts. Because remember that these gifts, they are not permanent. It is temporary as we are. When we die, someone else will take over. So